Hi, this is Paul from Through the Looking Glass, as you can see. I'm just gonna do a quick, commentary on my game Escape from Flatland for London 21, which had the theme of escape. So, just very quickly before we start, I'm just gonna explain I made this game with the intention of playing with social media. So when I went into it, I had this thought of wanting to play with social gaming. I also came in with the book Flatland because I saw it on my bookshelf before I came in, before I started the challenge, and thought that could be fun. Now, I'm not gonna sign in with Facebook because it's going to show you names of people I know. But essentially, I'll talk you through how that works as it goes. So I'm just going to press play, and now I'll play offline. So this first level was very much just to set the scene, get people used to the controls. Something that came up was a friend of mine that played this thought that they need to click on the screen, and so obviously that probably should have been more clear. The other thing is to set the scene in Flatland by using the first line of Flatland, which I noticed had a lot of commas, and that pretty much then dictated the writing style from there on in. Also just wanted to establish that there is a goal and you're going towards it, and so I think we did that quite well. This second level is very much about firstly connecting to the game, to the original story and where it lies, pretty much that is after the original story, but mostly about teaching a bit about the braking technique. So as you can see, if I go towards something, it breaks, and more that when people do this, chances are in the first time they will kill themselves, like so. And the real purpose of this was to have this message coming up, just to tell people, don't play with sharp things, or like when things die, probably stay away from them because they will kill you. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up here, and level 3. Now this is potentially a story-breaking level. The idea here was, because the whole idea of the game is that you kill a Nonagon, and in this case a higher order shape, and because of this you have to escape Flatland, you have to run away. So what I decided to do was, put a Nonagon and make it so you had to kill them. First problem, I didn't show it that time, is you have to go, you can just go straight through him without killing him, and yeah, it's not the easiest thing in the world, but you can. It's actually interesting because in the book, the idea is the less sides you have, the more dangerous you are, because your edges are sharper, right? What happened in this, because I made it so that any corner was equally dangerous, we actually had a problem where people weren't able to get through this without the Nonagon killing them. And so I had to turn off this guy's ability to kill you at all, which was a little sad and makes it slightly less of a teaching tool as to how to kill things than I hoped. But yeah, how not to be killed than I hoped. And yeah, here's pretty much the story set up. And as you see, from now on, everything is separated by commas, and that just forced me to kind of adopt that writing style, where everything is commas. This level is very much about teaching you, it's not supposed to be hard, it's just supposed to teach you that you should probably run away, and that if you don't, you will probably die. So I essentially had a thing where, if you die, give it a second, you have this text come up, which then points back to suicide is not the only option. The other option is running away, is to run here. So yeah, you can kill these guys, they're not that hard, but at this stage, you're not expected to have the skill. Again, this is very much about introducing you to other shapes. So the idea was to actually, like, as the game progressed, that you encounter smaller and smaller shapes with less sides. So at the start you're encountering like the higher order shapes, and then it gets lower as you escape through the lower socio-economic sections of the city. The lines were always interesting because they're really hard. Yeah, this is again supposed to like teach you that you should look for other ways around things because these things are pointy and will kill you. The lines are especially like painful and evil in this game, which is what they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be the hardest things, the most dangerous things in the world. And this is to teach you, yeah, sometimes you have to fight, and sometimes like that you die. You can run around some of these guys, as so. So this is probably the first bigger level, and this was supposed to be a bit more of a maze where you're trying to find your way out. In this version, this is the first level where you actually get a social aspect going. So you won't see it here because I didn't sign into Facebook, but if you are signed into Facebook and one of your Facebook friends has also played the game and has gone to this point, one of these shapes will be green rather than white in the middle, and they will be an ally and they will attack the enemy. The idea here was very much to create a co-op experience. And that worked fairly well, except for the fact that like this is probably a bit late. Like in the original form, it actually gets introduced a lot later. This is a slightly edited version of the game. You'll notice that there's some control issues, which I will go into in a bit. But yeah, the social aspect I think worked fairly well. There's a bit more to say about it in a bit. As you can see, there's a bit of clipping issues with the game. So there's a few random small issues with the game in terms of control, but it's generally about right. Someone actually mentioned that maybe the rotation should be less fast compared to the velocity. But the turning circle is kind of useful, so I don't know. This one, so that last level you only could have a maximum of one friend show up. This one you can have two. This level was interesting in that I kind of wanted to just make everything squares, and I didn't get that in the end. The other fun thing is this dude, who's like crazy little shuriken, who I didn't actually notice till like a day or two ago. Yeah, which was kind of interesting. And this was, again, supposed to, if you die there, it actually says something like, you might want to go get a friend to help you, essentially, like trying to hint at the idea that this social aspect exists. So one of the things that probably should have been a bit more obvious was how the social aspect worked. But I didn't, for the sake of the like story, I didn't really want to like start talking about like specific gameplay in a gameplay voice, which made it kind of hard. So I didn't want to ever say like, you must log into Facebook inside the gameplay voice. This level is very much just going, lines are evil, try not to die by them. Yeah. This level is probably a mistake. It's pretty much the idea was a lot of things in an open space. And I think I went a bit overboard with it. Again, you can have two friends who can help it, up to two friends that can help you out. And that was very, that in the original game in the London version is where you first get your Facebook thing, which is very late in the game, and far too late. This one, again, it's very much maze-like. It's fine for me because I know where the end is. But yeah, and as you've just seen, lines have a slight issue in that if they're going in a certain direction, they can go through walls. Yeah, that's a problem. So this one, this is part of my, at this stage, ever-increasing want to make this game pretty much impossible for single player. And this level is fairly hard without some Facebook friends involved, without some of those lines being allies. As you can see, I'm actually not sure if I'm going to get past it. I should probably do more of this. Oh, there we go. And that's the thing, the idea of this game wasn't so much that you're supposed to kill everything, it's escaping. You're just trying to get out. And I didn't want to I didn't specifically say that that was it, and I know some people actually try to like kill everything, but yeah. This was just kind of a fun thing that I wanted to do, this level, and it's just a really fun pattern. And this is where like the wall hugging comes in. Like, it's actually kind of a bug with the game that, well, it's a consequence of the way the physics works, that the walls work this way. Whoops. That essentially, once you're on a wall, you're just going to hug it, and then as you continue, like, if you're pressing forward, you can't then turn if you're on a wall, is a bit of a bug. Yeah. I'm gonna have to do this again. But yeah, and that comes down to like not having time to fine tune the controls. Probably spending a little bit too much time getting the Facebook stuff working. But that was worth it anyway. And so yeah, the idea here is the second one is somewhat easier. Once you've got through the first one, that's fine. And again, there you get like quite a few friends that can help you. In general, I try to up the number of friends that could help you in each level. I think there's one where it goes down by a bit, but it's not so noticeable because there's so many fewer people in that one. I think this one you can have like 8 or 10. So this is the last level that's actually really a level. This kind of demonstrates, if I can get it right, this one is actually just really quite hard. I actually thought this one would be easier than the barracks one, but it turned out the other way around. Because I just made the triangles so damn pointy. So this one pretty much shows the best strategy that you can use, which is getting them to collide with each other. And then making a debris field, slowly luring them in. The issue with this comes when you see that the pieces start breaking each other apart, which I'm fine with. The problem is that sometimes they get really fine, and then they start making ridiculous numbers of shapes, and then we're kind of in trouble with the physics engine. It doesn't like it. So this one, you pretty much need to get everyone out of the way. So you just slowly but surely lure them into here, because they're just going to kill themselves. Oh, that was another bug where one of the shapes replicated rather than splitting. So yeah, the physics is not perfect, but it's good enough. I haven't actually heard anyone complain that the physics is wrong, even though it sometimes... It doesn't get whether something should die wrong, but it often gets a split wrong. But yeah, and this is kind of an epilogue. You might notice that I've changed the text here for this version as opposed to the Love and Dare version, because it wasn't obvious that this was an end in itself, that this is essentially denouement, as you might call it. This pretty much is the end game. The idea here was there are like 20-something triangles here, up to 15 or 16 or something. Like, most of them can be your friends. So as the number of friends, as the social aspect and how many friends have finished it changes, the meaning of the text changes. Like, it changes from being, are they all savages just out to kill each other, or are they actually just like the others, like a lot of people on one side being up in a couple of triangles that aren't the same as them. And so yeah, that was kind of the idea. You can play this forever or die or not. But yeah, that's kind of the game. I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy with what I got done in the 48 hours. Yeah, I'd love to hear thoughts, criticisms, questions. Give me a yell, and yeah, I'll sign off now. This is Paul Stayer from Throw the Looking Glass, and this was the commentary for Escape from Flatland.